Hello everyone, my name is Huang Yuxi. Now I will discuss my presentation. The topic is aging's issue. This assignment divided into 3 parts. First, we into part 1. How do you think about aging issue in Japan as compared to Malaysia and my home country, China? Let's introduce current situation of aging in China. First, China has a serious aging population. China is the first non-developed country to age. The number of people aged over 65 has become an increasingly important sign of aging in China, which in turn the old age society in 1999. Second, aging in China is characterized by regional difference. China covers a vast area, and different regions have different degree of economic development, different custom and fertility concepts, and different degree of aging. China is less developed. The aging problem in Western China is much better than that in developed Eastern China. Next, China's population is aging fast. By 2030, the proportion of people over the age of 65 will exceed that of Japan today. China will be the oldest country in the world, and by the middle of the country, the aging of society will be deeply dependent. Next, China's aging population bear a weak foundation. First, Chinese pricing system is poorly prepared. Second, the lack of financial resources. Finally, there is a lack of facility. Compared with advanced European and American countries, there is still a long way to go. Finally, not to reach the developed country into the aging society. Now I will introduce comparison of aging trend between China and Japan. 1. Japan's aging development is ahead of China's, and the two countries are comparable. Japan entered the aging society in 1970, about 30 years earlier than China, and now it has the longest life expectancy in the world. In addition, as all the baby booms have entered the aging stage, and the fertility level has been lower for a long time, Japan has become the most seriously aging country, which brings the total population shrinking and social development. Lack of energy. The aging in Japan and China is also aggravated by the unbalanced aging structure of the population and the low fertilizer level. The two driving forces also have similar change trend. Therefore, the aging in China and Japan also show similar stage characteristics in different time intervals so successfully. The third, the change trend of the proportion of elderly population in China and Japan is similar. As we can see this picture, from the perspective of proportion of elderly population, the proportion of elderly age 65 and above increased to local peak and then stagnated in both countries in successive time intervals, among which the proportion of elderly aged 35 to 79 decreased in the second half of the period, and the proportion of elderly aged 80 and above increased all the time. Since China's life expectancy at birth and the degree of no-birth rate are both lower than Japan's, there will still be a gap between the aging rate and the aging rate of the two countries, which will be roughly stable in different range until the second half of 21st century. The third, change in the relative number of the elderly population in China and Japan are very similar. Following this picture, we can see the trend and the magnitude of change for the same age group is very similar in both countries. The elderly population, the total amount increases slowly to the peak and then decline. The number of middle and lower-aged people fluctuated in the narrow range and then decline, where the number of the very old people does rapid growth to periodic health, then stagnation for a decade or so, before continuing to climb to higher platform. Finally, the larger stage of the elderly population in China increased the difficulty of coping. By examining the population, economic and social development of Japan and the influence of aging, we can predict the need of China in the near future. The problem we face and the leading of Japanese aging process is helpful to observe its policy effect, have more time to absorb and plan, and also provide reference for our perfect policy system. Next, we will introduce Japan's aging population is a prominent problem. First, the high level of social security benefits imposes a heavy financial burden. Second, aging and fewer children keep the number of retirees higher than the number of new works, resulting in a labor shortage. The third, growing demand for elderly care and a shortage of workers have led to a shortage of nursing workers. Next, new progress of aging policy in Japan. First, good economic policy such as innovation in technology, reforming the way as we work, maternity benefits, and marriage bonus. The Japanese government proposed to achieve its goal of 100 million active societies through a combination of strong economy, child care assistance, and social security. It is seen as a comprehensive long-term strategy to address Japan's aging population. Second, long-term care insurance system reform and a comprehensive community care system. Compared with the long-term care insurance in South Korea, Germany, and other countries, the characteristics of Japan's long-term care insurance are low in identification standards, wide range of benefit care, and direct payment by insurance institution. Since the implementation, the operation has been in good condition and has played a role in prolonged life, shortening the period of disability and reducing the burden of medical resources. Third, attract a foreign nursing workforce. As one of the more developed countries in Asia, with a higher per capita income, Japan is a strong attraction for international immigrations. Facing the aged care, due to the shortage of personnel and the shortage of labor resources in Japan, it is necessary to bring in foreign talents to engage in nursing work. Finally, develop geriatric care technology. Japan leads the world in the development of machines for elderly. The important role of geriatric care technology in improving productivity, reducing labor demand, and increase labor supply. And then I will analyze aging in Malaysia. Malaysia will become an aging nation by 2030. That is statistics released by the Department of Statistics. Malaysia have shown that the percentage of population aged 65 years and over increased, which shows that the proportion of an older age population in Malaysia has been increasing each year and is lead Malaysia to an aging nation. In addition, it is also estimated that in the year 2030, the older population will reach 15%, making Malaysia an aged nation. Then we can get concluding from Japan's experience for China. First, we will actively promote the release of basic population data and carry out basis population reach and decision-making support. Second, we will remove institutional barriers and accelerate the improvement of the social security system. Third, stimulate the validity of market players and promote the development of industries related to aging. Finally, we will coordinate family policy and promote long-term and balanced population development. About Part 3, how to solve the issue of elderly who stay alone with dementia. First, let the government play a leading role, such as we will actively guide the concept of diversified elderly care service. The second, we will improve the relevant law, regulations, and policy for elderly people living alone in cities. The third, we will improve the mechanism for evaluating and supervising the supply of old age service for elderly people living alone in urban areas. The next, give play to catalytic role of the market. We will encourage the active participation of provider capital. Then, we will improve the quality and pertinence of service for elderly people living alone in urban areas. Next, improve the service level of the community. First, strengthen the transmission and feedback of urban elderly living alone. And then, optimize the community for elderly living alone in the city service content. The next, Social organizations should play a complementary role. We will raise public awareness of volunteerism. Then we will intensify efforts to foster social organizations. The family cultivates family members' sense of responsibility. It's our responsibility to take care of elderly people. That's all. Thank you.